Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. 4 topics for this video. The first topic. The president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, is ready to meet with the president of Ukraine, Mr. Volodymyr Zelensky. Putin said he's even willing to negotiate with Zelensky. But there's one thing Putin does not want to do with Zelensky. Maybe 2, if you know what I mean. So, that's the first topic. Second topic, Donald Trump lectures Putin, and the reason why I selected this topic is because I would like to show you how narrow-minded and subjective, but being subjective I think also shows narrow-mindedness, Donald Trump could be, and maybe how hypocritical as well. All the bad things, I guess. Why? Because Donald Trump tells Putin to mediate his own war first before Putin wants to mediate the Iran-Israel war. But if that is the case, then shouldn't America mediate what exactly? I will explain. The third topic. Putin discusses with Xi Jinping, the leader of China, the situation in Iran and Israel. That is, they might join in. Next one, and the last one, Vladimir Putin tells everybody under what circumstance, there's many more than one, Russia will strike NATO, and that is particularly Germany. So for all the guys over there, just spread the news. Putin said, if you guys are going to do this against us, we will fuck you up. All right, so let's start with the first topic. This comes from Ukrinform, is right here, and it is from today, the 19th of June 2025. Putin says ready to meet with Zelensky, but not to sign peace deal with Ukraine's president. Why do you think so? Now, what's strange is this. Ukrinform is an Ukrainian media outlet. So these guys speak Ukrainian, don't they? But they write or spell Zelensky's name with one Y. But then we're going to find out in the next article, Ukrainska Pravda, still these guys speak Ukrainian, they spell, or they write, Zelensky's name with double Y. Is this just to make sure that he is not Ukrainian? They put a double Y? Maybe so for us to identify them quicker. So why do you think Putin said he's ready to meet with Zelensky, but won't sign anything with him? Okay, let's read the first article. And I have another one right here from Russia Today. Putin reveals pitfalls of potential meeting with Zelensky. So this is according to Putin and the Russians. So Putin said he was ready to negotiate an end to the war with Ukrainian president. He's Ukrainian as I am Zimbabwean, while dismissing the idea of signing a peace agreement with him due to his quote-unquote alleged illegitimacy. Not that he comes from unmarried couples, it's just because he, according to the Russians, is not really in charge because he dodged elections last year. And I'm quoting Putin. I'm ready to meet with anyone, including Zelensky. Yes, that is not the question. If the Ukrainian state trusts someone to negotiate, whatever, let it be Zelensky, Putin said at a meeting with the heads of international news agencies as part of the St. Petersburg Economic Forum. He added that in the quote-unquote propaganda terms, one can say anything about Zelensky's legitimacy, but Russian authorities are interested in, and I'm quoting, not the propaganda component, but the legal one. According to Putin, a meeting with Zelensky is possible at the final stage, that is when Putin wins, of the negotiations, so, and I'm quoting, so as not to sit there and bargain something endlessly, but to put a full stop. Here it is. But a full stop must be put. The signature must come from a legitimate government. Otherwise, someone else will come next and throw it all in trash. But that's impossible either. We're addressing serious issues. Now, I would say, right here, the Russian dictator. So Putin is a dictator, but Zelensky is a president. This guy was elected, but the other guy is not. Again, refer to the constitution of Ukraine, which states that the president is elected for a 5-year term, and because of this, Zelensky's powers as president should have been allegedly been terminated, even amid martial law. Okay, while only the Verkhovna Rada could retain its mandate. Putin noted that according to the constitutional system, Ukraine is the presidential parliamentary republic. And I'm quoting, this means that all bodies should be formed by president. But if the head of the state is not legitimate, then the entire system of government becomes illegitimate. He did not specify with whom Russia would sign a potential peace agreement. He told you with a legitimate government. So, elected and so on. So, I think Putin, and I don't get too upset, I will make my case. I make a statement and I provide my reasoning. Putin is naive. Whoa, don't leave, please don't go. Now, why did I say that? Do you remember Donald Trump? Is Donald Trump the legitimate, how should I put it, president of the United States of America? It is. Through our legal abracadabra, that's what it is. He is the legitimate leader. He is the president. Was President Obama, Mr. Barack Hussein Obama Berry, was he the legitimate president of the United States of America for 4 years, for 8 years? He was 8 years because the American electorate is very sophisticated and they elected these guys. That guy, and then Biden, and then Trump, and then what? The next one is going to be in a continuous coma. He's going to be elected over that. Why? Other people have to eliminate the noise by the president. So, Trump was legitimate, Obama was legitimate. So when Obama signed, or whomever, the Americans signed the nuclear deal with Iran, the legitimate government, when Trump came as the legitimate government, he just tossed it in the garbage, being the legitimate one. So, no, what did they do? Nothing. Nobody did anything. What happened? That's it. Trump also tossed in the garbage the Paris Accords, which was fantastic, the global warming. Okay? The same thing. Obama signed it. This guy said, no, we don't, fuck it, gone. So it's pretty naive for Putin to think that the Ukrainians, the legitimate government of Ukraine, cannot tomorrow, after signing that, the same government say, you know what, I changed my mind. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. So that's why I said he's naive. But hey, at least as a, just for the show, should be signed by the respective authority. And again, here it is. Putin reveals pitfall of potential meeting with Zelensky. The same thing. The head of the Ukrainian regime can finalize peace talks but cannot sign a peace treaty, the Russian president has said. Well, this is what they claim. Again, this is what it is. Russian President Putin has said he could meet with Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky to conduct peace talks. Oh, I like this. Finally, Russia today came around. They used to call, the president of Russia and the Ukrainian president. And I said many times before, don't use that Ukrainian president. Use Ukraine's president. And the Russian president, finally, because he is Russian, has said he could meet with not the Ukrainian president, but Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky to conduct, but they also do it here because they want to emphasize that that guy is a president and this guy is not a president. To conduct peace talks between the two countries, but express doubt regarding Zelensky's authority to sign a treaty. We got that one? Got one. Now here, if the Ukrainian state entrusts to someone to negotiate on its behalf, suit yourself. Let it be Zelensky, Putin said. The question is, who will sign the document? All right, so this is the same thing. Let's go to the next one when Donald Trump dares to throw garbage on Putin. Here it is. Ukrinform. Remember, Donald Trump said that he might agree with Putin being the mediator between the Israelis and the Iranians, which I thought that from very beginning it was just a news flash. That was it. It was nothing else. So now Trump comes back and says, Ukrinform, mediate your own, quote unquote. Trump snubs Putin's offer on Iran. Well, let me tell you this. Let's read at least what this guy says. He rejected his offer to mediate in negotiations with Iran, offering him to mediate your own. I spoke with him yesterday and I said, you know, he actually offered me to help mediate. I said, do me a favor, mediate your own. Let's mediate Russia first, okay? I said, let's mediate Russia first. Okay, now let me tell you this. I gave you this example in the past. Let's say you have an enemy. Let's say you have an enemy. And I'm you right now. And you go somewhere and your child is in a lake and is drowning in the middle of the lake. You don't know how to swim. And here is your enemy. And the enemy says, you know what, Emil, if you let me, I can go and save your child or try to save your child because I know how to swim. I even have a kayak next to me. What would you say? Would you say, fuck it, go and take care of your children? Would you say that? And your child might be drowning? Or you say, yeah, please go, please help. Anyone, please help. I would do that way. Why? Because there's going to be casualties. In this case, your child. In this case, it will be Iranians, and not only Iranians, it will be Israelis and many others, the Americans too. So Trump is an imbecile. That tells me he says, hands off. This is my baby. Why? The United States of America is involved there. Now, the United States of America is involved, for instance, in Ukraine. Why is America mediating in Ukraine? Why is it? Why don't let's say, mediate it? The United States of America, Trump is allowed to be called mediator by the Russians. Why don't then America says, you know what? Let Ukraine and Russia mediate. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to even take my troops and weapons and intelligence away from that and my money or the bank's money. Why doesn't he do that? That's why he's an hypocrite. Oh, in Iran and Israel, you're not involved, right? Okay, then let them mediate. Let them, you know what I mean, the child. But in the other one, I am not involved. No, the United States of America is not involved, right? So let them mediate. The Russians and Ukrainians, you out. Europeans out. You see? That why is either an imbecile, he doesn't has I think self-reflection abilities, but whatever, or he's just a prick. I think the second option. I don't think Trump is that stupid. He might be in certain terms, but anyway. So again, the Ukrainians celebrate. Trump had advised Putin to mediate Russo-Ukrainian war first, not Middle East. Why? Because in the Middle East, we are not running the show. You are going to be dragged in by your masters. Putin discusses Israeli-Iranian conflict with Xi Jinping and plans to meet him in China on September 2nd. So what do you think these guys discuss? Now, these guys are in an alliance, let's put it mildly. This guy is in an alliance, almost with Iran. This guy doesn't want doesn't like what's going on in Iran. Neither of these guys have a problem with Israel, but they're closer to Iran than to the Israeli government or the Jewish state, so I can strike some brown points with YouTube. Russian leader, now he's a leader, the other one was the dictator. Vladimir Putin has held a phone call with Chinese President Xi Jinping. All right, the two leaders discussed the situation in Iran and arranged to meet in China in late August or early September. Both sides, and I'm quoting, has adopted identical approaches and strongly condemned Israeli actions which violate the UN Charter and other norms of international law. Did you hear this at CNN or Reuters or BBC? Moscow and Beijing fundamentally believe that the current situation and issues related to Iran's nuclear program cannot be resolved by force, but must be resolved solely through political and diplomatic means. This guy said that Putin and briefed Xi on his latest international contacts, namely his telephone conversation with key players in the context of the Israeli-Iranian confrontation. Who are the key players? Are we gonna help Iran or not? Putin confirmed Russia's readiness to mediate if necessary. He added that the two leaders had also discussed bilateral relations. Now, according to RIA Novosti, Putin and Xi agreed to meet on pop. Now, does this guy, Trump, have any authority to tell Putin back off? Shouldn't that be left at the Israeli and Iranians? He has any authority to do that? No. So that means this guy can do how much he wants to mediate. It's not about this guy. This guy's not in charge of this guy or anything else. Maybe United States of America to a certain extent. And again, let's go to the Express. Putin is chilling World War III warning as he names the only thing that would trigger war with Ukraine. No. This is not the only thing. That's the wrong title. One thing that would trigger war with NATO. Vladimir Putin delivered the warning during a meeting with senior editors in St. Petersburg amid growing speculation about Germany's future military support for Kiev. Vladimir Putin has warned, listen to this, that any move by Germany, any move to send Taurus missiles, cruise missiles to Ukraine would trigger a direct military confrontation between Russia and the West, rising fears of wider war. In a stark threat. No, it's like, this is not a threat. Let's say someone comes near towards me, okay? And he said, I'm going to punch you in the face. I'm going to punch you in the face. And what you say, if you come closer, I will defend myself. Physically, I will fuck you up. That's a threat, everybody. No, that's exactly, I'm telling you, what I will do if you come closer. Got it? So take it as a threat, take it as a whatever you want, wedding invitation, however you want to take it. I'm just telling you, if you come closer, I'm going to smack you. All right. So these guys are making it the way they want, raising fears of in a stark threat likely to send shockwaves through NATO capitals. The Russian president said such a move would amount to Germany, led by Chancellor Friedrich Merz, entering the conflict as a combatant. And this is what he said. And I'm quoting, what is this? If not the involvement of the Federal Republic in a direct armed conflict with the Russian Federation. It can't be called anything else. And why do you say that? Because he says, you guys, I'm going to show you, you guys have to operate the Taurus missiles, your officers. But I wonder who operates the, well, if you want, the Storm Shadow, the British, or the Scalp, the French. Who operates those Ukrainians, you think? I don't believe that. Now, indeed, the Americans' intelligence and satellites, military satellites, help the Ukrainians in hitting targets. So why don't you take on the United States of America? It's because you're afraid? Or you don't want to create problems? Well, let them then go on with the war. Russia's Vladimir Putin cautions Germany over any Taurus missile supplies to Ukraine. Putin said Ukraine would need Western intel and German officers to fire Taurus missiles, meaning German troops would be attacking Russian territory. There you have it, don't you think? Right there. Caution Germany that Moscow would consider it to be directly involved if that happens. Taurus missiles to Ukraine would drag Germany into war, warns Russia. Russia right there. Right? Let me see. A Taurus strike against a Russian facility or critical transport infrastructure, all of this would be regarded as a direct participation of Germany in hostilities. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova told journalists. Clear? Right there. Russia said Thursday it would treat Ukrainian strikes on transport infrastructure using German Taurus long-range missiles as direct participation in the conflict by Berlin. All right, here it is, my friends. We had Putin ready to meet with Zelensky, but he can't sign anything. He can negotiate if he wants. I mean, the bazaar guy is good in negotiation, isn't it? Then he tells you, no, you can't sign because you're not legitimate, and even your government is not. But as I said, I think that's naive. And then Trump says, mind your own business over there. Who are you? Shouldn't that be led to the Iranians and the Israelis option, not you. It's like those guys are fighting, you want to intervene, and I say, hey, you can't intervene, mind your own thing. I can say that, but I cannot prevent you from intervening and mediating if you want. Even let's say your child is drowning over there. I can't prevent or stop anyone for jumping and swimming to save my child. I can't do that. Unless I'm going to just grab one, but then what? Who's the killer here? And the other one is, obviously, Putin and Xi Jinping. I think they want to meet in the right and then go and probably go full force on, not to attack Israel or anything like that, but they will put pressure and they will probably say, we support this. They already condemned Israel, so that means you're on the wrong, so maybe we'll see how far these guys can go. And then you have the last topic. If you give Taurus missiles, you baboons, I'm going to strike you. That's what it is. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Now, if you think that's idiotic, think of another scenario. You fight a neighbor and the other neighbor shoots at you, say, from his house. You're at war with me, with your weapons and your intelligence and your officers. Clear as the night. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.